I can't believe I got away with a bluff. Yay! Can you believe that? I learned that from Phil Gelfond. Just keep betting.
And Joe shows.
Oh, I knew I should have won my first instinct.
Wow, what a sick bluff.
Nice hand.
Thank you.
10-7 for Daniel.
Uh-oh, this is Daniel's favorite hand, and it's actually gotten him into trouble in the big game before.
Re-raises on the button to 5,200. Gelfond folds.
You know, it's actually his favorite hand because the 10 and the 7 were his two favorite colored balls back in the pool sharking days.
Ah, very good info.
I totally made that up.
Oh, sounded good to me.
It's just been lucky for him.
Action folded back on over to Seaver, who calls.
Scott Seaver is really hoping Daniel has an overpair so that he has the right implied odds to make this call.
Haxton folded, so heads up to the flop. King, deuce, queen. Seaver checks the best hand.
That would have been a big flop for Joe. Negreanu was repping a big un pre-flop. Let's see if he keeps repping.
He reps, betting 6,200.
Looks like Scott's going to peel.
He calls.
Haxton wants his cards back.
6 of spades on the turn. Seaver checks.
Daniel still got just 10 high. This is one of the dangers of having a favorite hand. Daniel seemed a little gun-shy all week when bluffing Scott Seaver. Let's see if he can fire a third barrel.
Daniel does fire that third barrel, making it 14,200 to go.
I could justify Scott's call on the flop, thinking maybe Daniel would shut down after one bet, but Daniel certainly hasn't shut down.
Seaver keeps it going. He calls.
Seaver's totally stationing Negreanu.
You mean like a calling station?
Exactly.
4 clubs on the river. Seaver checks.
That's a tough card for Seaver to be afraid of. Daniel's loading up for a fourth barrel. Sick.
Daniel fires 36,000.
How much do you have behind? Thank you.
Despite the fact that no draws really came in, this would be a pretty sick call. Daniel bet far less than the pot, so this really does look like a value bet. Scott really doesn't look like he believes him, but in a situation like this, if you call and you're wrong, you look like a total fish.
36.
Daniel sticking to his new strategy of being quiet. Shh.
Seaver folds the winner.
Phew-wee. You had me staring. I had my favorite hand. You know what that is?
10-7?
No, the 10-7.
Oh, 10. I said
Exact
10.
suits.
I
Seven.
said 10-7.
Oh, you did? I'm sorry. 7 of diamonds and 10 of clubs specifically. Those are the ones. I can't believe I got away with a bluff. Yay!
Now, I'm going to speculate. I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
I think that was good for the game.
Yes, I'm assuming that was.
I could be wrong.
You believe that? I learned that from Phil Gelfond. Just keep betting. Sometimes they fold.
Speculating here. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Scott thinks it's great. Woohoo! Action begins on Joe Haxton because Daniel is straddled.
I picked up a flush draw. I had a queen high flush draw. On the river I did.
No, you did.
Still talking about the last hand. Haxton raised to 2,500.
It's a pretty loose raise, unsuited under the gun.
Action folds around to the cannon, who's out. 4s for the straddler, who calls. The flop. Ace, 8, 10, all spades. Daniel, the only one with a spade, and checks. Haxton, middle pair.
35.
Makes it 3,500 to go.
35.
Daniel will sometimes have the best hand in this spot.
And he calls.
He's got the best draw.
King of spades on the turn, giving Daniel a flush.
This is a weird spot for Daniel because you're either way ahead or way behind.
He fires 5,000.
Daniel's thinking that without a spade, Joe would pretty much have to give up this hand. He doesn't appear to be giving up.
Nope, he raises to 13,000.
Daniel's bet was pretty small. Maybe Joe sensed weakness and decided to try to make a move on him.
Daniel calls.
Move hasn't worked so far.
Jack of clubs on the river, giving Joe 2 pair. Daniel checks his flush.
Joe's got 2 pair, but he's going to have to rep bigger if he wants Daniel to fold. Let's see how badly he wants to blow Daniel off his hand.
How's 28,000?
This is a bluff designed specifically to get Daniel to fold exactly the type of hand he's got, a weak spade. Let's see if it works.
I feel like flipping a coin, but then I'll hope it comes to call. Do you ever do that?
Oh, yeah.
Flip a coin, but you want it to be call at the end? Okay, I don't have the queen of spades. Just want to make that clear.
Sure Joe likes that.
Thing is, I've seen you do this before. Who was it against? It was Howard Lederer.
You remember that?
Yes, and it was 4 flush, and you didn't have anything.
So long ago.
Yeah, and you just totally bluffed him in the same exact spot. Where you raised the turn, you bet the river, and you didn't have it, and he folded a better hand. And I feel like he might do the same thing.
Total recall.
See, if I knew you watched television, I wouldn't do the same thing, would I?
There's only one problem, Daniel. If you watch TV, nobody would ever try to bluff you. I'm just trying to tell you. If you've ever watched, nobody would try to bluff you.
Oh, man, I was going to fold. I mean, I was going to call, now I think I might fold. Damn it.
Even though Daniel's got a flush, it's only a bluff catcher at this point. No worse hand would ever bet this for value.
We made a real good show yesterday.
I changed my mind. I don't know, my first instinct was call, and I'm folding.
Daniel folds.
Oh!
Bad?
Sorry, Joe.
Did you show a spade?
And Joe shows.
Oh, if I knew I should have won my first instinct. I had the 4 of spades.
Wow.
High five. And now Seaver. Also suited. Not connected.
Well, we all know Scott Seaver has a very loose definition of suited connectors, and he's getting more than 3 to 1.
Seaver calls. 3 to the flop, which is King 10-10, top pair for Hashem. Brunson checks.
Seaver thinking about it with 6 high.
Doing more than thinking about it. He's acting out, firing 5,800.
Now, even though he wasn't first to act, this is still a donk bet. Scott's hoping no one hit this flop and he can just take it down right here. For Hashem, it's pretty tough to lay down top pair in this spot. Very tough to put your opponent on flop trips, let alone if he did have trips, why wouldn't he let Hashem continuation bet at least one time? Since folding here to 1 bet isn't really a possibility, I guess Joe must be trying to decide between call or raise.
There's the raise to 15-5. Doyle folds.
This is a risky raise for Joe Hashem. If he thinks his opponent's bluffing, he should let Seaver keep firing. If Scott's got a 10 or a better king, there's a good chance he'll get 3-bet. Now, we know Scott's only got 6 high. What in the Seaver is going on here?
I'll tell you what's going on here. He re-raises to 42.5.
Scott Seaver has just bet $42,500 that Joe Hashem does not have a 10. In other words, that's not a knife. This is a knife. Seaver claims this pose keeps his opponents from getting a read on him. He definitely doesn't want to give anything away now. Joe Hashem is painting himself into a corner here, and And he's likely to be thinking to himself, Aussie, 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 oi, oi, vey.
All right. Wow. I fold. Pass.
All right, fold.
Nice one.
Wow. And Seaver shows.
Yeah.
Scott Seaver had the 6.
He was waiting for it. He was waiting for it. Nice hand, sir.
Yep, that feels good.
Ike, big slick.
How much you playing?
About 90, sir.
About 90. Pot is 46.
4,600 straight. Raise to 4,600 straight.
And Ike re-raises to 4,600. Mercier folds.
Even if Antonio thinks he's behind, he's got the right implied odds to try to flop a set of deuces.
Antonio calls.
Sometimes a baby set can get you your opponent's entire stack.
The flop, 8-4-7.
Antonio flops good so far. See if Ike continues.
He does. Betting 6,800.
I'm not sure one C-bet from Ike is going to be enough to get rid of Antonio. Let's see if Antonio puts Ike on an overpair or just two big cards like he has.
Raise.
Antonio raises to 21-1.
This is a pretty interesting raise. Antonio's hand is only one better than Ike's, so this raise is only getting action if it's beat. Also, this is a tough board to try to bluff out a hand that's better. There's really nothing too scary about it. It is possible that Antonio's just picked up on something on Ike not liking the flop.
All in.
Ike re-raises all in.
This is a huge bluff from Ike. It would be a pretty ridiculous call if Antonio can make it.
Nope. He folds.
Ike Haxton goes all aggro cadabra on the magician.
Vanessa with queen 9 offsuit.
This is well within Vanessa's unopened cutoff raising range.
And she does raise it to 1,300. 9-6 of hearts for Antonio.
Poker's kind of cool in that way. You could tell someone that your entire thinking and then go ahead and raise and bluff, and it's still hard for them to call.
Jamie Gold started that.
Yeah, it worked for him for 5 days.
Yeah.
Or 9 days.
I don't think it worked after that. Once they saw that.
Antonio calls.
If he could just flip the script sometimes and go up, you know, then it might work for him.
He can't do it. It's amazing.
Jack tray for Friedman.
Prahlad must be a little distracted by this conversation if he's thinking of playing this hand.
And he folds. And Huggins is out.
Like if it was no limit pre-flop, I might just put in some big re-raises. This pot limit holds me back a little bit.
Yeah, that's the point.
Heads up to the flop, 6-10, 4-2 diamonds. Antonio with middle pair.
Middle pair and the best hand. Vanessa with the lead.
Bets 2,300.
Antonio probably can't fold a pair to just one bet.
Makes the call.
Vanessa also could have been semi-bluffing some backdoor draws.
Turn. 3 of diamonds. Selbst picks up flush outs.
Vanessa just picked up a lot more outs, though a 9 high flush draw isn't so hot.
She checks it.
Vanessa may be giving up with that check. Antonio can't be in love with the diamond.
Bets out 5,200.
Antonio's looking to protect. There aren't a lot of good cards that can hit for him. Looks like I may have prematurely called for self-surrender. Perhaps she has sensed that Antonio is weak and can maybe blow him off his hand. Here come the 5K chips.
It appears that Vanessa left her white flag backstage, Joe. She is raised to 21,400.
This is a pretty insane bluff with only queen high, but if you look at Antonio's hand, this could work. Betting the flop and then check raising the turn with air is affectionately known sometimes as the stack-a-donk play. It's actually a little outdated, but it looks very strong. Antonio's probably wondering to himself how often Vanessa would do this with an actual hand, though.
Antonio does not believe he makes the call.
A tough call, but a good one. Gulp.
The river. Deuce of spades.
Now that might look like a brick, but Vanessa could have been semi-bluffing a 5 on the turn just as easily as she semi-bluffed her diamonds. She's met adequate resistance from Antonio the whole way, so I'm fairly certain she knows she can't win this pot by checking. So the question is surrender or fire one last bullet. She's loading up.
And Vanessa fires 59,700 on a stone bluff.
There it is, the overbet. We've been here before. This bet is supposed to polarize Vanessa's hand, nuts or air, and Antonio can pretty much only beat air. This would be an absolutely sick call. Vanessa could very easily have played a huge hand the same way.
59-7.
59-7.
By overbetting, she's given him really tough odds to make the call, not even getting 2-1. Is a pair of sixes going to win enough to justify those odds? Not likely.
Antonio with 119,000 behind.
He's probably still thinking about that check raise on the turn. If she had a big hand, would she really have given him the chance to check behind? Finally, and people discount this more than they should, Vanessa has the stupidity factor in her favor. If Antonio calls and he's wrong, he feels stupid.
I think Antonio turned her straight with like a 5-7 suited.
Yeah.
And
What is she?
then I think she has a flush. I think she has it.
Worst read ever.
Well, that's what Prahlad the Couch Cannon thinks, but it's Antonio's read that counts here. And Antonio fold. What is going on? Antonio folds.
Little bit dirty on the pump fake by Antonio, but Vanessa, wow, what a sick bluff.
Nice hand.
Thank you.
I wanted the board to pair on the river.
Antonio is saying he would have tried to rep a boat.
Vanessa drags a pot worth over 110,000.
I wanted the board to pair, so it came straight and flushes already there.
No, so I could rep a full house. You know?
Stick it in there.
Just ship it. How can you go?
It took Vanessa 3 barrels, but Antonio Esfandiari, you just got bluffed, sir.